This episode is sponsored by The Path, the coach-guided membership designed to help you make alcohol small and irrelevant in your life by removing your true desire to grab that next drink. Our science-based, compassion-led program allows you not only to shift your behavior and your relationship around alcohol, but more importantly, uncover and reprogram your subconscious conditioning and neural connections that have been keeping you stuck for years. With daily live breakthrough coaching, an intimate and supportive community, regular peer-to-peer connection calls, and a complete vault of resources, this is where your path to total freedom and effortless enjoyment of your new way of life begins. Join us at nakedmindpath.com. Hi, this is Annie Grace, and welcome to This Naked Mind podcast. Today, I am answering some questions from readers and from people in our programs, and I am going to do a few of them for you. Why is it so hard to imagine being happy after going alcohol-free? A few reasons. Number one, you have created neural connections with everything that you do that makes you happy and alcohol because you've drank at every wedding and every sporting event and every barbecue and every Tuesday and every Netflix binge and every dinner time. So all of the things in your life that actually bring you joy, you've drank and you've created neural connections. Those are false neural connections, and we show you that. But that's why. And so those things are just totally wound up. The other thing is that it's really hard to imagine, like, it's just like when you desire something, desire isn't entirely conscious. There's a lot of desire that's subconscious. Imagine this, again, this is the classic analogy, but if you were in a relationship with somebody else romantically, and you knew that this person was terrible for you, maybe they're even cheating on you, right? And so logically, you know that this is causing me so much pain. This person is terrible for me, but you still want them despite your conscious logic. That's what's happening with alcohol. You still want it despite the fact that it's causing all of these problems. How do you undo that desire? You do it through the rewire process, through the path. But here's the thing. Later, many years later, we all can identify people we used to be in love with that we don't want anymore. And when we were in love with them, it was so hard to imagine that we would ever not feel that way. That's just what's going on here. And you just have to have a little faith. You're not going to be able to imagine it. You're not going to be able to imagine being happy without a drink until you experience it. And that's totally okay. It's totally okay. I drink to escape mental and physical pain. The real reason is to numb. And that's on your list of things that actually alcohol does. So how do I overcome that? First of all, there's a lot of knowledge about how the mental pain specifically, alcohol exacerbates. Alcohol actually releases the stress hormone in your body and it really exacerbates it. So when you learn that, so if you're drinking for pain and then you learn all these things of this thing is now causing you pain, somebody hands you a glass of wine and you're looking and you're like, okay, that's not actually going to help me. And so that makes it easier. But number two, alcohol does actually numb you. In fact, it numbs you so much that if you drink enough of it, you will become unconscious. They used to use it in surgery. Okay, so if you want numbing, how do you overcome that? This is where Disappointment Panda comes in. Mark Manson's, which problem do you want? Do you want the problem? By the way, they don't use alcohol in surgery because it's so toxic. All right, so you can still drink it recreationally, but they're not going to use it in surgery because it's too toxic. That's weird, but whatever. Let's shelve that for now and just say, what problem do you want? Do you want to find another way to actually numb your physical pain or actually heal or handle your physical pain, right? Or do you want to keep doing it with the thing that's very toxic? And so at some point with the things that alcohol actually does, two things. Number one, it actually will numb you to the point where you are unconscious and all of your senses have been turned off. And two, it will give you 20 minutes of a bit of a euphoric high for the first drink only before 2 to 3 hours of a low. And that's something that we talk about very in detail in the path. It's all sorts of science about your blood alcohol content rising and falling and all sorts of stuff like that. But the reality is you can't argue with those things. So at that point, you just really have to set an intention for which problems you want, which are the problems that you want in your life that you're going to choose intentionally. And remember, not choosing is a choice. Defaulting into problems is actually a choice, right? It's actually a choice. Would I still be welcome if I was part of the Alcohol Society? I'm a winemaker and I actually feel enormous guilt. Yes, you would absolutely still be welcome. We have coaches who still own wineries and they host mocktail hours and they actually, because that's the thing is like, when we want to lower the barrier to entry into this conversation, I have coaches who like even worked in the industry. And I think that's amazing because you're in the industry, right? You're actually physically there. You're talking to people. And I think that's totally fine. And you don't have to necessarily, you might want to make a career change ultimately, but you don't have to. Have you tried the alcohol experiment? Okay, if not, drop everything and go to thisnakedmind.com/experiment. This free 30-day challenge is designed to interrupt your patterns and put you back in touch with the best version of you. You remember it was that version of you that's living your most joyful life, the version that doesn't need alcohol to relax or to have a good time and is having more fun than ever. And again, this is a totally free challenge that will change everything for you. So learn more and join me 100% free at thisnakedmind.com/experiment. And as always, rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast as it truly helps the message reach somebody who might need to hear it today.